If I pedal, he's gonna beat me.
Mallory Gulley was that to the majority of enthusiasts. The self-assured blonde from Street Outlaws. Memphis is dropping arms, counting money, and surviving in a world full with speed, automobiles and faster communication, but behind it was a racer through that serene smile and by pursuing adrenaline in tandem with several of the most well-known figures in the South. The Ugly Duckling's automobile and her bravery. Her enthusiasm made her stand out in a scene that is dominated by men, and then just like that she left without warning or farewell. Silence, so what actually took place? From family drama and lawsuits to the truth is revealed in cryptic social media posts. The reason behind Mallory's abrupt absence surpasses everyone in depth and darkness. Envisioned, and more truth may be revealed. Mallory Gulley is considerably more than just hearts. More than the title of money girl, people. I'm sure I knew her because she gave out prizes. Cash to racers on television, but that's only the exterior of the scenes that she has been. She has spent her entire life racing and comes from a living, breathing family. Vehicles that were born in Jonesboro on March 9, 1996. Mallory, from Arkansas, was raised in a close-knit family, including her parents, Carrie, Kenneth and Sanders Gulley reared her and her sister, Natalie the Gulley's name may sound familiar already. And her father Kenneth is to blame for that. Kenneth Gulley became well known. Mallory was long before she ever set foot on a. He is the man behind Gulley at the racetrack. Garage is a horsepower-based business. And perseverance, but above all else, a businessman. Kenneth has always had a passion for cars and spends racing for almost 25 years, seeking speed and constructing some of the most formidable machines on. The song is among his best known. Drives Bounty, a 2003 Chevy S10. Hunter Mallory's passion for motorsports wasn't something that she happened to pick up from. She was tagging when she was younger. She went to the tracks soaked with her dad. Up all of the cultural information and Kenneth was close to J.J. Deos, therefore. It was not long before Mallory turned into a well-known figure in the racing world as well. Later, she enrolled at Arkansas State University. University continuing the tradition of. Nevertheless, her sister Natalie. Regardless of where life took her, racing remained a continuous upbringing in a household where cars served as more than just a means of mobility. But, as a way of life, it was bound to. She would be captivated by the thunderous engines and the track's excitement. Gulley bail bonds, which her family owns, and keg tugging, and she stays near. Associated with the family company, although it. Did she spend time with her father? Observing street races that really got people excited. Her enthusiasm for their time spent together at races, particularly ones with Street. J.J. Deos, the racing icon, quickly guided her to. She soaked it up by joining the activity personally. Everything, including how to construct to learn how to drive a car like the one she possessed. The roadway, and when she eventually fell back. The wheel herself, and she was obviously wasn't merely present to watch Mallory. Possessed the ability, concentration, and fire to. She used to be seen by people of color on the sidelines presenting the award. Money, but those times have long since passed. She is the one driving and in the spotlight. Her favorite vehicle is a striking purple 64. The Ugly Duckling is Chevrolet. Appropriate name as well, since similar to the tale of Mahler's change from The powerful driver's bystander is attracting attention despite the presence of cars. Of her life forever, and she continues to learn the ropes of what dominance requires. The track, but she's without a doubt possessed the willpower, and when it comes to, she gives to the person who ignites the fire inside her. Many thanks to Chelsea Day, another Mallory, a daring female racer, looks up to her, and their relationship transcends racing. They encourage one another to improve. For Mallory, everything changed when she got a position on Memphis Street Outlaws. That show gave her more than just a screen time. It provided her with a stage on which to display the world what she was truly capable of doing, and now she wasn't merely a daughter or she was an acquaintance of someone at the track. Racer in her own right, separating herself from own way and demonstrating her permanence. This Street Memphis Outlaws is a spin-off of the Street Outlaws franchise is extremely popular. However, it delves far into the raw this time. Considering the rough and tumble street racing culture of it all began in Memphis when Pilgrim. The people behind the street are the media group. Outlaws is a Discovery Channel series. Went to J.J. DeBoss with the notion that putting on a spectacle that focused on him and his. At first, the Memphis crew didn't really sensing it when the executive producer Sam Caucus inquired as to what would be required to get him on board. J.J. was honest. Didn't wish to participate in anything that seemed staged or manufactured, but J.J. being J.J., he outlined his conditions and informed them that if they were prepared to capture everything on camera, how did they go down without any directors shouting? Cut without anyone instructing them on how to race. Real street action with cameras rolling. Afterward, he might be in. Sam agreed, and that's precisely how it's been since that time. What the audience sees on Street Outlaws Memphis is neither produced or polished, it's raw, erratic, and authentic. Memphis brings more than simply fast automobiles to they bring a completely other kind of dynamic vitality that underpins their style. Custom with a surprising amount of roughness. J.J. and his team are returning for a new season. And the competition is more difficult this time. More racers from Detroit than ever before. Texas as well as nearly every other state in the Memphis will be put to the test by the country, but Memphis has always been J.J.'s opponent. The world as the Memphis's leader. J.J. of Outlaws manages things with an elderly. There are no elaborate beginnings in the school code. Lights or electronic cues, simply the drop of his arms, and he's ready to go. Feels that if you're pursuing, it's a avoid overanalyzing the start or slowness of the race. He claims in motion replays that back in the street racers of the day lacked cameras or technology to analyze each race move they made. Using what they had, they made amends. Without arguing while driving their cars in. Memphis is a family, not simply a sport. Legacy. J.J. has 5 generations of inheritance. Racers who accompany him and his spouse, Tricia. His cousin Precious and his son Doughboy. All of them are crew members, and they race for more than just pride, they race for money, for something, and for respect. More profound than monetary value. But they are aware each time they line up. What could happen if you make one mistake and everything could be lost, in contrast to the track safety because the streets are congested. Of unknowns. J.J. dissects everything. From a dirty surface to evening dew or even more crew members interfering with the starting line can cause all kinds of problems. There isn't a safety staff present if you If you mess up, you can die, which is why the link between a racer and their vehicle. Does JJ tell everything you need to know? Your vehicle as though it were a part of you. There will always be reactions from various streets. Distinct ways, and if you're not in agreement, you don't stand a chance with your machine. Opportunity, but street racing isn't only because of the highways, it's also dangerous. Concerning the individuals, disputes regarding wagers could get ugly due to a misunderstanding and things can get out of hand, which is why respect for one another and leadership are. Everything has seen how swiftly things have progressed. Can go wrong without anyone intervening. To cope with his world's heat there are countless methods to earn money and there are just as many ways to die. It requires a devoted workforce and a level head to prevent that loyalty from bursting up. Is the Memphis's covert weapon? Outlaws, this isn't a hastily assembled squad of racers, is it a bloodline or? These connections are not well ingrained on years of shared experiences and trust. That connection is what keeps them alive during they have each in the street's pandemonium. Other people's backs regardless of what this means for JJ. He was never given an option in life. They were his grandfathers and uncles. Street racers are more than just a passion, is an inherited tradition between successive generations and through each race, wager, and each fight on the street, they maintain that maintaining tradition because in Memphis, street racing is more than simply a lifestyle. The family Mallory initially appeared on the scene in 2018 at the age of just 22. The moment she entered as what they referred to as essentially, the money girl, is the one who keeps monitoring of JJ's cash wagers during the races. Nevertheless, she wasn't merely standing. She played a big game while carrying cash. Functioned behind the scenes as well as assisting. Arranging races and ensuring. Operated smoothly right away and was a reliable attendance for the group, and it didn't require long for others to understand that she wasn't. Mallory could just be there to look good. Truly motivated, she secured her position by facing out against some serious rivalry on the streets, but not. Things took a while after she became involved. A dramatic change in September 2018. A lawsuit involving her father surfaced. J.J. Deos and Kenneth Gulley, together with a woman named Chad, Jenny Larkin's partner, filed the lawsuit brought against Discovery Channel, claiming that while filming, they were attacked. The show, in their opinion, Kenneth and someone else they called Bounty Hunter went after Chad and began hurling blows before tackling him. Chad said, to the ground, as he felt a searing ache when he struck the pavement. Shoot like something through his leg. Tor said the hits after he was down simply continued to deliver face kicks with fists to the ribs, which he genuinely thought they were attempting to murder him, and all. This was purportedly taking place. The lawsuit claimed that the camera crew failed to. They simply continued to record. One producer even instructed a cameraman to get closer. Things became much more unsightly for a better photo. Jenny attempted to intervene in accordance with the lawsuit filed by a Memphis lady. She was seized by the Street Outlaws gang by the nape of her head and pulled her through. Her hair falling out of her caused her pain, both physically and Channel's emotional finding didn't say much about any of it in public, but even considering all of the drama in the background, the season had just begun. 3 began with a novel blend of Faces, including those that are recognizable, stepping. Returning to the limelight as one of the. Kenneth Gulley's biggest surprise is getting behind the wheel once more for the first time since that terrible accident in. Despite his S10 bounty hunter, the true twist occurs when Mallory, his daughter, makes a decision. She has the opportunity to shine with the entire. Precious JJ is being supported by the Memphis crew. She gets a collision after jumping into ZP, gang. Memphis's approach to street racing. Quick, rough, and unapologetically audacious. The stakes are quite high, and this is serious. Wild bets flying, cash on the line, and every race feels as though it might alter everything, according to JJ DeBoss, and his family members are adhering to their knowledge. Homegrown hustle, unadulterated street talents, and the courageous grit they're facing. Everything, even large tire hot shots. From Ohio to the erratic back roads in West Virginia, followed by Detroit. Bringing the attitude and the loudness, but the Memphis Outlaws are firmly established, and Memphis-style pursuit of that victory by the Season 4's rolling in the heat. Turn the Memphis crew all the way up. Is up against some of the top country street racers, and it's about survival, not simply pride. Legacy, a substantial sum of money, and his team is placing huge bets, and they know every race, so it's much harder to race. Might be the one to shatter them or honors them, but whether they win or lose, they're risking everything and riding with passion for. Mallory is currently racing under that top slot. Molly is more than just a tagging nickname. And she's putting it all on now. She calls the line in a brand new vehicle. The Ugly Ducklings First Street in real life. Compete against a formidable Kentucky squad. She's had just one arm drop race in her rear. But she still jumps in spite of that. Ready to plunge headfirst into the flames. Represent Memphis and create her people. She is proud to have strong mentors. JJ Deos is more than simply a legend on the streets. He has assumed the persona of mentoring a fresh crop of racers. Particularly the females who are prepared to demonstrate their abilities, and Kenneth, Mallory's father, may not be no longer racing full-time, despite his expertise and background behind the wheel. Continue to use him as a force in her favor. There is also a fresh face this season, assuming leadership roles within the family. Chelsea, the doughboy's wife, is sick of observing from a distance. She's putting on a suit and driving a car and demonstrating the depth of this racing existence in her lineage as well, and it's not only about any fresh racers like Travis in Memphis. On the streets, Harvey is most commonly known as Carolina. Kids are eager to demonstrate anything from which he is bringing an entire squad. Virginia wants to shake and make noise. Things up, well-known names are appearing. Support Ronnie Pace as well with his Texas. Chris Block of the squad representing North Carolina. And Kentucky's Quinn is still pursuing that enduring competition with JJ from new competitors for seasoned veterans. Every wager and every race are gambles. Bears danger, but there is still one item. JJ DeBoss and the Memphis remain unaltered. All of the Street Outlaws are in there. Pursuing wealth, leading a life, and carrying it out in the only manner they are aware of. Memphis way, but what came next would astound fans with more inquiries as opposed to responses when Mallory Gulley failed to appear. Ready for Street Outlaws Season 5. Memphis attracted a lot of attention. Unexpectedly, she had been among the notable characters in the show, such as for her self-assurance when driving and her participation in the MSO team, therefore for her to simply disappear without a reason. That left admirers perplexed and inquiring questions, and they've never stopped asking since looking through her Instagram, and there are many fan comments available pondering whether or when she will return. Even a beautiful message was put beneath a holiday picture requesting her homecoming and claiming they didn't get to watch her drive the unattractive fowl, but Mallory never says no. Denial, lack of confirmation, and even silence. The network has not said anything. Declarations, no updates, and Mallory hasn't disclosed anything herself on social media regarding it either. That silence just intensified the feeling of enigmatic, but we do know that she departed the show around that time. Mallory appeared to be shifting her focus more toward her social media accounts and personal life. Demonstrated her interacting with family and relishing a more tranquil way of life back in. She was dating someone in 2020. Zach King, a male, shared pictures with them from events and games appearing joyful, but all of the photos have recently disappeared. Aside from a couple group photos and Zach's, she is completely absent on Instagram, so perhaps that chapter came to an end while the footage of her racing stopped. In order to stay occupied, Mallory partnered with Hope Gabriella, a designer from using glamour to change her home calling. She even shared it with her bachelorette pad Hope. Pictures of the newly renovated living room on Facebook showcasing a comfortable customized Mallory's favorite area. She continued to speak up outside of her home life in Mallory has not concealed anything in other areas of her political opinions, even following she continued to demonstrate support for the 2020 election for Donald Trump's participation in rallies. Among them is one from June 2022. And if she's not at a rally or the beach, she works for the family company Gulley Bail Bonds, her father, and sister who works at Gulley Bail Bonds as a bail bond agent, assists individuals in obtaining freed from prison by hiding there when they are unable to pay bail. There is even the company's YouTube channel. Plenty of bounty hunters on a shoestring. Videos that genuinely have the vibe of the Cops knockoff, which is a little difficult to observe, and it appears to reflect she once invested the same amount of energy into an God Guns, is the caption for an Instagram video. And Trump, beside a statue of Trump. A cursory look at her Facebook profile depicts a similar image that she took. Donald Trump Jr. photographs were uploaded. Support for divisive viewpoints such as believing that Brittany Gurrier was deserving of in a Russian jail and exchanged a few. Much information that leans toward conspiracy these days. Mallory is primarily concerned with her businesses owned by the family besides Gulley. There are two keg bonds, Keg Towing and Keg Motorsports.com, where she continues to make money. During her tenure with the Street Outlaws, and she has accumulated numerous victories from racing competitions throughout the years. Whether she will return to the remaining show ambiguous, with no announcements or updates, just supporters continue to hope that one day she may return the ugly duck to